right, folks, welcome back to my channel, The Caspers. Been away for a little bit, but I'm back again to bring you some more useful information. Been pretty busy with work and, things changing at work. You gotta adjust schedules, so, it kind of compresses my time here that I'm available to bring you some content. But I was able to make a video for you guys today. Now, today's topic is very simple, and it's a very important one, is when you go on your cruise vacation, how should you book your shore excursions? There's several ways. I can tell you about three, okay? The number one, the one that I recommend the most, especially for first-time cruisers, is booking your shore excursions through the cruise line, okay? If you book them through the cruise line, you're gonna get a better experience, okay? Safer, but not necessarily the cheapest, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why, okay? When you book through the cruise line, the benefits is that you're with the cruise line. So this means if the cruise that you're going on, or the shore excursion, I should say, if you go on one of these, scenic trips, or you do any shore excursion, snorkeling, whatever it may be, okay? If the tour itself is delayed, the ship will wait for you because it's a tour, or it's a tour operated through the cruise line. So they have, agreements with the local businesses. Hey, we're making, this purchases through you that we sell through a cruise line, and then they bring that to you. So in other words, it's just better. What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to, try to simplify it as much as possible. So they won't leave you. So if you book it through the cruise line, your tour gets delayed, don't worry about it. The tour guide will go ahead and call us, hey, we're running a little behind, and they'll wait for you. Now, this is a worst case scenario. It usually doesn't happen, but it still does happen, and I've seen it happen, okay? The second one is that if you don't book it through the cruise line, as soon as you get off the ship, right there at the pier, they have what I call secondary choices for your shore excursions, okay? You go there, they have a group of people there, little booths, kiosks, or whatever you want to call it, and then they'll start offering, local tours for this and that. Okay, they're not as pricey as the one that you purchased through the cruise ship. They're just a little bit cheaper, but still, you save a little bit of money there. However, those those shore excursions are independent. So again, if the tour itself is running late, the cruise ship is not going to wait for you. This is why it's more important to book the one through the cruise line. So now the third one is right out. If you don't do the one from the cruise line, you don't do the one right at the port, at the pier. There is, as soon as you get out to the street, you're going to find the cheapest. However, the riskiest, meaning you're going to take a big risk. You're going to save a lot of money. Me and my wife have done this a bunch of times, but we've taken a risk, okay? Because we've been on a lot of cruises, we just kind of felt comfortable. Okay, we've been to this area several times, okay? We felt comfortable, so let's just get and try something different. And we did. We started trying those third layer, I should say, of shore excursions, which you just basically go right outside the pier. As soon as you go out, that's it. You get a bunch of vendors, hey, give you a tour, I'll take you around the city, or whatever it may be. You get it the cheapest, but the risk is there. The risk is, again, if you get stuck somewhere, or they get delayed, or their van or their car gets broken down, you won't make it back to the ship. Guess what? You're stuck in that island or whatever resort you're at, okay? Keep that in mind. Again, number one is always the best option in my opinion. Now, a lot of times, if you have a good time that you're at the port, let's just say you're good there 7 hours, okay? Then you might could take a little risk, because if you take them early in the morning, even let's say worst case scenario, you'll save some money, take a little tour around town or whatever excursion you choose. Now I'm talking about the ones right outside the pier, okay? So there's ship, pier, and outside the pier. So I'm talking about the one right outside the pier. Then it's okay, you go early enough, whatever tour you're gonna do, you're gonna be back more than enough time, okay? So usually, you ask them how long is the tour, depending on what you wanna do. Hey, if you have a few hours to spare, go ahead and do it. So you can kind of take the risk, but be smart about it, where you reduce your risk by taking a very early tour as soon as you get off the ship, okay? So those are your three different kinds. So my last words here for you is, if you're not that experienced in cruising, please just take the one from the cruise ship itself. You will pay the highest prices. They're not always the cheapest. I don't think there's been any cruise line that I've been on where the shore excursions are cheaper than the ones at the pier or even outside the pier or destination. So, but again, what you're paying for is peace of mind. You're paying for, hey, if something happens, I'm not gonna be left stranded here. This is why I always recommend, we always have your passports. You know, yeah, you can go on a cruise with just your birth certificate, but, you know, God forbid you get stuck on the island for whatever reason, then now you're having a hard time getting off and coming back to your home country if you're in a country where you're required a passport and so on. So those are my advices for you, depending on what your situation is. I've done all three. I've done cruise ship, I've done at the pier, and I've done right outside. I haven't had any negative experiences, but one time I will tell you that we were in Belize and we decided just to take one from the street. Just go out there past, not the cruise line, at the pier, just go right outside to the street. And we met this nice gentleman, and you know, they always tell you these, you know, they'll show you the badge, which means nothing, whatever. You can put whatever you want on that badge. It means nothing to me, you know. But anyway, he took a tour, he took us around town, and then we had to go all the way deep into Belize because we were trying to find these, what is it called? Oh my God. I just forgot. We're ziplining. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, ziplining. My daughter and her boyfriend wanted to go ziplining, so it was way in there, like a good 45 minutes to an hour. So everything was fine, but he kind of got lost on the way over there, and it was like in the middle of nowhere. My wife was getting a little nervous. She's like, oh my God, I don't think something's right, something's right. I'm thinking like, okay, let me see what's going around. Remind me if I have to just make an escape or what's gonna happen. It was a little scary, but anyway, we found it and it was a nice experience. So, but then again, if you don't wanna go through that, you don't wanna take the risk, just take the ones on the cruise line. You know, it is the most expensive, but they profit the most too, because they buy these tours in bulk with the local companies. So if I'm Super Carnival here and want to purchase a short excursions in whatever country I go to, I'm going to say, hey, I want to pre-purchase 150 tours. They're going to give it to me at a real cheap price versus just booking, you know, purchasing it one by one. So it's bulk buying, kind of like going to Sam's or BJ's or Costco. You know, that's how the cruise lines benefit from this. However, if you ask me if it's worth it, it is worth it if you're just going to book it through the cruise line, just because of that sense of security, that peace of mind, and kind of like a guarantee that the ship won't leave without you. So, all right, folks, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you found this content very useful. Drop a comment, a like, any general questions you can ask me. So that's it for today, folks. Have a great day and a great week. We'll talk to you soon.